audience.
Hello viewers, good morning. It's another beautiful Friday here in the Federal Capital Territory. Yes, thank God it's Friday. You know that feeling when it's Friday, especially for workers. You know, there's something, the joy that usually comes with Friday, and we're happy today is Friday.
Yes.
This is Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Princess KESSY. As usual, I have with me on the show this morning.
Blessing AKAN.
How was your night, Blessing?
It was fine, Princess.
I can see you're glowing.
Thank you. And yes, you look good too.
Thank you. I slept well. At least we thank God for a long time. I don't think I've slept for such a long time the way I did last night. Though I used to, I don't know, something would just wake me up in between a few hours. I just wake up and start thinking about somebody though. Let me know, like I'll pray, I'll go back, I'll pray, I'll hand. So
It's natural.
yes. And I will thank God for today. We still have a lot of issues. We will see that the president actually met with senators and lawmakers elect, and they have been battling. That power tussle coming from the National Assembly is still there. Yes. My only prayer is that people have been waiting that so apparently the president might just have anointed candidates, you know, those he will want to choose to work with him or to be the leaders there. But I don't think that I don't even see that happening, because I think those our lawmakers are another stubborn set of people we have. They are very stubborn. Anyway, we're just really hoping that whoever emerges will have the interest of the people at heart. Now we'll kickstart this morning with the program, and I'm going, just before we start the newspaper reviews, I'm going to be bringing somebody on the show later, the National Treasurer of JUSUM, to talk about some of the issues bordering on us and the judiciary as a whole. We're going to kickstart with the reviews this morning, and I'm going to start with the Punch newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from the Punch this morning. The major headline here says, National Assembly leadership, Tinubu's meeting with lawmakers face to resolve zoning crisis. And the rider says, President called for zoning, failed to name anointed aspirants. Sources. And the second rider says, opposition parties claim majority plots to use number against APC candidates. All the stories on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says that reps step down 543 billion naira judgment debt payments. That story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says President signed bill on judges' retirement age, and that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says subsidy NNPCL failed to remit over 8 trillion, says RMFAC, and that story is on page 17 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Nigerian Air Arewa Group demands a Saraki's arrest, on page 28 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says INEC APC oppose LP's request to quiz IT experts, and that story is on page 28 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says 5G raised telecoms GDP contribution to 2.51 trillion naira. This is coming from NCC, and that story is on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Ogun community residents stranded as flood overruns Link Road. That story is on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says return home for vote buying trial. APC tells Adebutu, and that story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Punch. Okay, I saw a story here. Ogun community residents stranded as flood overruns the Link Road, and you could see the picture there telling that story clearly. this is horrifying if you ask me. Yes, you could see that the water is already is so much already almost getting to their waist level, and this is not good. And that is why, if you recall that on this show we've always called on appropriate agency, individuals, residents to clear waterway, to make sure there is no blockage, and to make sure that the government do what is needful before the rainy season. Now, not during the rainy season, everybody is running head to scatter, calling on agency, government, then you're looking for how to resolve the issue. I just really hope that we will learn to inculcate the habit of doing things before time.
Yes.
After before now, NIMET already predicted that the rains this year might just be as much as what we saw last year, the flooding. So I was really hoping that before this time, a lot of measure would have been put in place before this time. We really do hope that they will find a way. You know, flood is something you cannot stop. That is just it.
You can't stop.
It's not something you say, okay, let me drill out the water or something, except there is a proper drainage system that will just help water flow and ease the whole water and all that.
Yes.
Anyway, there's another story here as well that says Tinubu's National Assembly leadership. Tinubu's meeting with lawmakers fails to resolve zoning crisis, and that's why I said. So someone would have thought that meeting with them, the issue would have been resolved, but as it stands today, those guys are not even willing to resolve the issue. And then we just really do hope, sincerely, we do hope. And I saw a story here also that said President signs bill on judges' retirement age. That means you get to
a certain age and you have to retire.
Yeah. What of the presidency? We should look into that as well.
Yes, of course.
Look into that, the executive. In fact, all the three arms, we should look into that, because we have a lot of old people. I think the only good thing is that when you go to National Assembly, you see some young people, though. Yes. That is the fact. Anyway, we'll move on quickly now to the next newspaper. We have
the Guardian newspaper, and our big story here is in search of independence, 10th National Assembly for tough time. That story is on page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. World Bank lists Nigeria among countries with high food security concern. That story is on page 18 of the Guardian newspaper. Again, we have here Nigeria loses 150 billion naira to gas flaring in 4 months. That story is on page 28. Transfer power to your deputy to avert constitutional crisis, SDP tells Akeredolu. That story is on page 26 of the Guardian newspaper. And again, we have here PDP LP plots against Tinubu's candidate in NAS leadership tussle. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And we have again, Tinubu meets G5 governors as Peter Mba presses for Kanu's release. That story is on page 3. PEPC INEC staff testifies on failed transmission of presidential results. That story is on page 3 on the Guardian newspaper. That's what we have here on the front page.
A lot of stories there. And I saw a story here that says transfer power to your deputy to avert constitutional crisis. SDP tells Akeredolu. And then there's a story here that says World Bank lists Nigeria among countries with high food security concerns. I don't know what's going on, but I know that, of course, we're going to have food crisis with the rate of subsidy removal, the cash naira swap policy. We're still trying to actually recover from that before we now saw this. So, of course, insecurity ravaging the farmers and the
It's on the high
products.
side.
Yes, and the
Yes.
product. You go to Benue today, usually you get a very big tuber of yam for as low as 500, but now you can't even get a yam, not to talk of the one you get for that
People are even
amount.
scared to go to
To
their
go,
various
yeah,
farms.
like I heard that people go in groups, and that is the issue we're having. It's really a sad one.
It is.
It's a sad one, and I feel like I'm really happy also that the president is up and doing, so he can actually help to resolve some of these economy issues we are having. Now, viewers, we'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue with the reviews. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Prince, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wileke, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates: 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue: Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. We're still here with the newspaper reviews, and it's your favorite program, Wake Up Nigeria. Now I'm going to continue with the Nigerian Tribune. Now these are some of the stories coming from the Nigerian Tribune. We have here the major headline here says, 10th NAS, Tinubu pushes on, meets lawmakers elects. Canvasses unity, national interest, want them to downplay politics, meets G5s. All governors in support of APC zoning templates. Ogun governor. PDP will work with other political parties. This is coming from Olo Goagba. All those stories are on page. They're on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have a story here that says Tinubu signs first B. New acts. That is not very clear, but that story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says DSS storm Anambra Assembly, attempt to whisk away Emewi lawmaker elect. That story is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says NFPCL yet to reconcile 8.5 trillion fuel subsidy claims. Now, this is coming from RMAFC on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. As well, we'll have a story here that says Enugu governor in Aso Rock presses for Nnamdi Kalu's release, and that story is on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We also have a story here that says subsidy. Falana lists 22 corruption cases that cost Nigerian trillions of naira. Says Obasanjo paid 873 billion naira for fuel subsidy. Yar'Adua 749 billion. Jonathan 3.9 trillion. Buhari 11 trillion. All the stories are on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says NAS election results transmitted, but presidential election result failed to go. INEC officials tells courts. And that story is on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says police rescue adopted travelers in Ondo, 4 kidnapped after naming ceremony in Kwara community. That story is on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from the Tribune. Something here is very shocking. I saw a story here that says subsidy. Falana lists 22 corruption cases that cost Nigeria trillions of naira. And this money that we paid, says Obasanjo paid 873 billion naira for first subsidy, and then Yar'Adua paid 749 billion for subsidy. Now Jonathan paid 3.9 trillion for subsidy, and Buhari paid 11 whole whopping trillion for subsidy. And then we're still having debt. We are still among in fact, on top of the list globally when it comes to debt. No, this is not right.
This is so unfair.
And I don't understand. I remember I did have a guest here on the show that says if Buhari, if Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan were able to maintain subsidy, economy was very okay.
For their 8 years.
Even for at the time of Jonathan was 70 something, maybe 60 something now. Yes. And he was still funding the subsidy. Why is it that this administration, the past one, halfway down to this time, could not fund it anymore? We keep borrowing and the fuel is still expensive and the economy is still crashing. Something is not right. That is why I really, the likes of Falana, this son, I love this man because I feel like he's always he's fierce, he's bold, he comes out to say the way it is. So we were really hoping that we will see more of this case. We'll see more evidence and more of a cover story uncovered, because this is not right.
There's something they are not telling us.
This is not right.
Not right at all.
Yes. And then there's a story here that says Kano governor, Enugu governor in Asoro presses for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Let's see how it will go. Maybe just this new administration might want to temper justice with mercy and try and let the man out. Yes, it's been such a long time. And another story here, we saw Buhari. We saw police rescue adopted travelers in Ondo. Kudos to the Nigerian police on that. And we still saw four kidnapped after naming ceremony. That is such a sad thing. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
We have the Daily Trust newspaper, and our big story here is support Akpabio, Danjudeen, Tinubu urges lawmakers elect, and the writer said president gets governors buy-in. Yari, Kalu remain in race. Batera meets Asiwaju today as Wase insists on contest. This story is on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Also, we have here IPMAN assures on capacity to force price of petrol down. That story is on page 11. How economy failed under Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan, and Buhari. This story is on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. 2 years after, freight services on Lagos-Ibadan train stall. The story is on page 11 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And these are the stories we have from the Daily Trust newspaper.
I saw a story here that says support Akpabio, Tajudeen. I really think support Akpabio, Tajudeen, Tinubu's urges lawmakers elect. I think at this point those people are stubborn now, because I saw that quickly. There's something I cannot say, but I'm thinking that politicians, they always talk from two sides of their mouth. That's something I've come to realize. They're not straightforward. And in the game of politics, the more you look, the less you see. Yes, and I've seen that. We saw that just 2 days ago. All lawmakers left Akpabio and went behind Orji Uzor Kalu to kill that this is the person we are now supporting after a meeting with the president. And again, the president is now coming out today to say support Akpabio. There's something that is confusing. Only these people can tell us, of course. And how economy fared under Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, and Jonathan Buhari. I think then like one of the labor leaders, he said that it's as if it's a case of Nigerians going their yesterday is always better than today. For some time now. Which is not right. We do hope that we really do hoping on this new administration to really revive the economy. We're moving quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Vanguard newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Vanguard newspaper. We'll have here oil revenue crash pushes FG's deficit to 513 billion naira in February. And the rider says it is 16% below budget benchmark. This is coming from CBN. Non-oil revenue declines too. Federation account revenue drops 32%. Now, all the stories are on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says PDP's G5 governors meet with Tinubu. We stand for justice, fairness, equity. This is coming from Makinde, and that story is on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says presidential pool. Obi produces software engineer as witness on page 27 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says G5G, Nigeria must prioritize consumers, privacy, ethics of data usage. This is coming from NCC, and that story is on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says, tense NAS leadership, uncertainty over presiding officers, and that story is on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here that says FG puts payments for NDAs on hold, and that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Democracy Day, government declares June 12th a public holiday on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here that says Nasarawa Assembly factional speaker accuses CP of fueling crisis. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says presidential pool. Tinubu, APC oppose INEC's hardcore staff as witnesses, and that story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says Northern Forum seek arrest, probe of ex-aviation minister Siraka, and that story is on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says death toll in Benue communities attacks hits 40. A very sad one, and that story is on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. There's a story here coming from the sport desk of Vanguard that says Messi shoots Inter Miami's followers to 4.5 million in 12 hours, and that story is on page 31 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have coming from Vanguard this morning. Quite a lot, if you ask me. And I beg your pardon, there's a story here. Net forest inflow rises to 22% to $5.1 billion in 2 months. And that story, it's on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, these are all the stories we have. Quite a lot of stories coming from Vanguard this morning. And we see that oil revenue crash pushes federal government deficit to $513 billion in February. This is really a sad one, and I don't know why the presidential pool, Tinubu APC opposed INEC's ad hoc staff witnesses, but they're human beings, they are Nigerians. If they saw something that was not right during the process, they are supposed to say, this is what we saw. So why are they now saying they should not come out? And I really feel for people in Benue right now. Death toll in Benue communities attack hits 40, and this is coming on the heels of the recent attack they have. They were attacked just days ago. It's really sad, and I do hope that the authorities will do more than what we are seeing. Anyways, will go on another quick break, and when we return, we continue with the reviews of the papers. Now, don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive
Okay, my people, it cannot be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event, and this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to event@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and Tap Tap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride this.
Feeling the boy, feeling the boy. Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Positive flow, I'm so attracting. Where the freestyles or even writing.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break, and we're still here on the newspaper reviews. We're just talking about the clashes and at Benue. That is a very sad one. I do feel for these people there, and we do hope that sincerely security agencies will come to their rescue, because it's been from one crisis to another, one crisis to another, and we do hope that the agencies also, even federal government, will take cognizance that the people there have gone through a lot. Talking about Benue, Kaduna, and the rest of the states, they have really been through a lot. So this is the best time to come to their rescue. Yes. And then we're going to continue with the reviews of the papers, and I'm going to continue from the Blueprint newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have coming from Blueprint. Now, we have a story here that says Nasarawa Governor Sule Buhari spent over $19 billion cost of Dangote refinery on moribund nations' refineries. Explains reason Nigerians' refineries can't work. NNPCL yet to reconcile 8.4 trillion subsidy claims. This is coming from RMAFC, and these stories are on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Polaris Bank crisis deepens, meeting with union leaders deadlocked. That story is on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Democracy Day. Federal government declares Monday, June 12th, public holiday. And that story is on page 14 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Tinubu to lawmakers elect. Let's get 10th NAS right from the start. This is coming from Tinubu, and that story is on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. Governors are for APC's backed choices. This is coming from Abiodun. As well, the story is on page 6. We will deploy our number maximally, says PDP, on page 6 as well of the Blueprint newspaper. We have a story here that says Tinubu absent to bill on uniform retirement age for judiciary officers, and that story is on page 7 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says government kidnapped 13 in Ondo, on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. As well, we have a story here that says telecom sector contributes 2.508 trillion to GDP in first quarter of 2023. Now, this is coming from the NCC on page 23 of the Blueprint newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Blueprint this morning. And there's a story here that says Tinubu said they should get the 10th NAS right from the start. I think that's a very good one. If you don't get it right now, you keep having crisis during these 4 years, and it's going to be difficult for them. Congratulations to workers, civil servants, because we don't have holidays now, but they always have. Yes. Monday is another public holiday for them, and it's a good one. There's a story here. Polaris Bank crisis deepens, meeting with union leaders deadlocked. Please, if people have money there, let's not hear story. I don't want that kind of this economy we are now. Don't
have put so much money inside the bank, and they are no.
And this time, this is not a time to come and play with people's money. The way the country is now, please. We know that the little they have left in the bank, that is their treasure, that is everything, and they have their hearts tied to that money. Let's not come and hear story tomorrow that we are having one issue that cannot be resolved. Please, this crisis deepens. We don't want to see news like this. Whatever you have to do it. You have people's wealth, money, hard-earned money, sweat being stored in that bank. Yes. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
We have this day newspaper, and our big story here is Tinubu meets senators Members-elect charges them to work together, choose own leaders, and the rider said urges them to put nation's interests above other considerations. Another rider said PDP moves to back Yari's faction to create upset, says opposition parties will maximize their numbers. Abiodun governors across party have accepted APC's candidates. This story is on page 5 of this day's newspaper. ExxonMobil visits an alumnus and president. Obi seek permission to question INEC over ICT personal use. This story is on page 44 of this day newspaper. Again, we have another story here. Sule, Buhari spent over $19 billion on fixing refineries in 8 years without results. The writer said, doubts Nigerian petrol consumption data. RMAFC, NNPCL's 8.48 trillion naira subsidy claims still unreconciled. Back remover. That story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. Again, we have the telecom sector contributed 2.50 trillion to GDP in 2023. That story is on page 6 of this day newspaper. Access Bank launches American Express card. This is all we have from this day newspaper.
Love the fact that telecom sector contributed 2.508 trillion to GDP in first quarter of 2023. Good one. And also there's a story here that says I don't know, Sule, this is coming from Nasarawa governor that says Buhari spent over $90 billion on fixing refineries in 8 years without results. Like I said, we have to see more of these stories because a lot of money have been spent talking about refineries, talking about for a subsidy, and talking about the oil sector here in Nigeria. But all to no avail. Like the guys said the other time, Nigerians keep going, their yesterday keep getting better than today. It doesn't make sense to anybody. And then we move on quickly to the last newspaper we have, and that will be coming from the Punch. Punch Sport Extra this morning. That story. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Punch Sports Extra. We have the big headline here that says Benga Ogun Bote. Exclusive. We have foreign coaches that make costly mistakes, but no one calls for their heads the same way they do when it is a local coach. Local coaches. My NPFL coaching story, and this is coming from Benga this morning. That story is on page 6 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. As well, we'll have a story here that says Rice set for Hamas exit. That story is on page 4 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. As well, we'll have a story here that says F Eagles return after World Cup outer. And that story is on page 8 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. As well, there's a story here that says Everton line up Dembele's move. That story is on page 4 of the Punch Sport Extra. Villa Panda Magure bid, and that story is on page 5 of the Punch Sport Extra. These are some of the stories we have coming from the Punch Sport Extra. There's a story here as well that says Ben draw insurance. Can Benin Arsenal break James against Rivers? That story is on page 6 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. These are all the stories we have coming from the Punch Sport Extra. You might just want to get a copy for yourself to see more details of these stories. But I didn't love the main headline here that says Benga Ogun Bote. exclusive. We have foreign coaches that make costly mistakes, but no one calls for their heads. The same way they do when it's local coaches. That is it. Nigerians tend to applaud people, foreigners, and if it's your own, kill them, kill them.
Exactly.
Nobody is above mistake, like I always say.
Respect to people from
Yes.
outside, from other countries, and we tend to punish ours.
Anyway, that will be a good place to wrap up the reviews. Like I did promise earlier that I'm going to have a guest on the show this morning. Yes, we're going to go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll come back with our guest this morning. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Praise, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jet Play, and many more. Dates 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Nigeria Film Corporation, and lots more. Don't be told, be there.
Okay, my people, it cannot be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to events@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride this.
Feeling the boy. Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Praise, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wiliki, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jet Play, and many more. Dates 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. Like I did promise, I was going to bring a guest this morning. Yes, we'll have our guest via call, Comrade Jimoh Musa Alange. He is the National Treasurer of Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, as well as the Chairman of JUSUN in Nasarawa State, as well as NLC official in Nasarawa State. Good morning, sir. Nice to have you on the show.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my sister. How are you? Good morning, viewers.
I'm fine, comrade. Welcome. Yes. Tell us, what's the update on the issues of the peculiar allowances demanded by the judiciary workers?
So far, so good. In regards to peculiar allowance, we've met with the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and he has assured us and promised us that it has been long overdue. The last time we had peculiar allowance for the federal was around 2016. and it has been long overdue. It's supposed to be renewed every 4 years. So the last time we met with him, we tabled all our issues to him, and gladly he admitted their wrongs for not being attending to us. But this time around, he pleaded and assured us. In fact, all the demands we took to him, which this was the most paramount one that our workers are looking for, he admitted and make us to articulate and bring to him. He was going to approve it and send it to Salaries Wages Commission for computation to come up with the particular percentage of the peculiar allowance that we deserved in judiciary. So it's in the pipeline, and we have hope that it's going to see the light of the day.
A comment also to a lay person that is watching right now. Can you tell us what is this peculiar allowances?
Judiciary, like you know, is an arm of government, and they are not civil servants. They are public servants. Our kind of job is distinct from the public, from the civil servants. We have a kind of job peculiar to ourselves and the hazards. It's not all clerks that work in the judiciary that can work in the service of the government, because their job description is different. So for our kind of job, we are asking for a peculiar allowance for our kind of job that we do in the judiciary. They all like nurses, like you know, they have their peculiar kind of jobs that they do, different from the service. So this is a peculiar allowance that is commissioned to our service in the judiciary, like hazard and other things. So we got that during President Goodluck Jonathan. We raised that issue, and the matter came to the light, and we were approved. They agreed that we deserve those allowances to us. Yes.
Okay.
So we want the review now. It has been long overdue.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. What is your view on the subsidy removal and the effect on your members?
Effect on my members is difficult for a start. You see, something that you've not been used to. This subsidy has been lingering for over many decades. Many regimes have been, but with this approach that the president have told, it took us by surprise. But I know we are going to absorb it and come out of it successfully.
That is true. You know, Nigerians have a way of overcoming issues. I don't know why, but we're just.
Of course, we're a hard country. We are strong. We have our ways of overcoming whatever. We came out of money. What do you call it?
Naira swap policy. Naira swap policy.
It was very serious, but we came out of it. I am proud to be a Nigerian. We are so strong. We'll come out of this successfully. And we just pray that this is the best line that the government have told, and they will do something about it to make it work.
Indeed, that is the prayer of every Nigerian right now. Now, what's your advice to the newly inaugurated leadership at both the center and the states regarding to the plight of workers?
My advice to them is to have listening ears. Where we have problem in this country, the moment you seek a position and you get there, you don't want to listen again. I advise them to have a listening ear. They should listen. The government is for the people, by the people. So they should listen to us. They should listen to us and do what they think we said is right. When 180% are saying, do this, listen to it. It's not somebody's personal thing to lead. It's not somebody's personal. So I pray to this government to give us listening ears and listen to us. The step they've taken from the top, as I see, and as we met with the government, I see 70% of success if they listen and do what Nigerians want them to do. The problem of this country is not the leadership per se; it's we that have the problem. We the followers. we have these issues. So we must also dust ourselves, purge ourselves from this kind of characters that we have. If not, we subject ourselves to hardship by ourselves, not even the government.
Of course, the former president did say that Nigerians are stubborn people, and it's usually difficult. It's more easy for him to even rule over cows than we Nigerians, because we're stubborn, and I don't see the lie.
Actually, in one way, he is right. We are just stubborn. We are just impossible. So we should discipline ourselves and make it easy for the rulers to rule us. We are so difficult. You can see even a hold up. You see, when there's no traffic, you see us. Everybody wants to claim rights, and get yourself stuck in one place for no reason. We are just so difficult. So the earlier we purge ourselves and do the right thing by ourselves. No leader can come to your house and tell you what to do.
What to do? Yes.
You should be able to do it yourself. You know what is wrong. You know what is right. Yes. What is wrong is wrong. You know it. So we should do the right thing. We should not always put blame to our leaders. We should be able to take care of ourselves by ourselves.
Okay, sir. Do you trust government pledge to provide palliatives to cushion the effects of subsidy removal?
Trust. Well, you see, when you are encountering somebody for the first time and he open up to you and tell you honestly this is what he wants to do, I advise that you give him that cooperation and see. But when we talk of issue of trust is difficult. Trust is difficult. We will believe them by what they tell us, and I think they have good faith that they are going to do something about it. So let's just pray for them, for God to touch their hearts, so that they do that they promised to do to us. I think it will be better for us. It will be better than the last regime, by God's grace.
I hope so.
Now, sir, there is one major headline this morning that says that President signs B on judges' retirement age. Now, what's your take on this?
It's a good development. It has been on the pipeline for a long time. It has been passed, but the former president, unfortunately, could not sign it before exit. And since the incoming president feel it's time, let it be done. It's okay.
And sir, also, yes, just before we let you go as well. So you did say in your first response that the demands are being met, or the discussions are still underway.
The demands are partly acceptable to us. We feel it's been met, but until it's on the ground, we will not say it's fully done. But by the talks or by the engagement and by presenting and accepting from the people we are demanding for, we feel our demands are met.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Jumo, for being on the show with us this morning. Viewers have been on the show with Comrade Jumo Musa Alange. He is the National Treasurer of Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, as well as the Chairman of JUSUN in Nasarawa State. Thank you so very much. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Do have a beautiful day.
Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
You. All right.
Yes, you've heard from him. He is the National Treasurer of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, as well as the Chairman of JUSUN in Nasarawa State. I was going to ask him about the tussle, little part also here and there in Nasarawa State. We've seen that 2 speakers are emerging from the state assembly, but that is a topic for another day. I wouldn't want to rush that story. So that would be a good place to wrap up the show this morning. Like he did mention that the subsidy is really taking a toll on the workers, and like we know that this is something that is every Nigerian, to little children, they are feeling it. It's biting on everyone. It's not just for
so deep.
Yes, that would be a good place as well to wrap up the show this morning. But before we go, don't forget our Nigerian Week London that is fast approaching. All you have to do is go to everbright.com and get your tickets, book a stand, and be part of that event. A lot of interesting things are going to happen. We're going there as Nigerians to showcase ourselves, our culture, our heritage, the colors, the people. We are special people. He did say we are strong people. So we're going there to showcase us to the world. Don't be left out. We have a lot of ministries, agencies, of course, private sectors, and filmmakers, musicians, fashion icons, individuals already partnering with us. Don't be left out. We're going to showcase our films, our food. I'm more interested about the food, the music, and of course, we as the people. And before we go, don't forget to hit on the notification bell.
And follow us on all our social media handles for more insights.
Yes, do leave us with your comments as well. We'd love to hear from you. Invite somebody as well to the page. And while you are out there, stay safe, be at alert. Know that there is always hope. Keep hope alive. And just before we go, there's a special announcement here. The second matriculation ceremony. Kindly be our special guest as All Nations Institute of Marine and Technology Ogara holds her second matriculation today, 9th June of 2023. Time is 11 a.m. prompt. Venue Institute Ceremonial Ground. Please take note of this event. The event is happening today. Kindly be our guest. Make sure you were there. So, as All Nations Institute of Marine and Technology Ogara holds her second matriculation today. That event is today, 11 a.m. prompt. The venue is Institute Ceremonial Ground. So be part of that event. If you are in Delta State, all road must lead to Ogara this morning. That is something special. And so it's a good place to wrap up the show. Like we always say, thank God. It's Friday.
Yes.
But please, while you're out there having fun, it's Friday. Will people even go to clubbing today? Will they go for clubbing? Will they go for outing? Yes, I don't think people want to waste their effort today, waste their money on expensive champagne and all that.
Having fun.
I know the fact that it's Friday today, people will always, whether subsidy removal or not, people will always find a way to have fun. You've been working from Monday till now. Of course, it's not easy. Sometimes find a way to unwind, to relax at home, around, or somewhere. Just relax and keep hope alive, no matter what. We are strong people, like I guess did mention. So everything will be all right. Keep hope alive. That's a good place to wrap up the show. I remain yours truly, Princess KESSY.
I am blessing AKAN.
Remember, peace is priceless. So let's give peace a chance. See you again on Monday.
Hooray! It's Nigeria Week London 2023. This is a celebration of Nigerian foods, film, arts, culture, fashion, music, dance, and comedy. Also, there will be a comprehensive economic summit, exhibition of Nigerian organic agricultural produce, and a meritorious recognition performance awards to deserving Nigerians and industry icons. Nigeria Week will showcase Afrobeat A-list artists, Ice Praise, Terry G, Orishefemi, Oris Wileke, Konga, Bigiano, Nice Flow, Jetplay, and many more. Dates, 17th to 23rd July 2023. Time 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Venue, Lighthouse Theatre, 262 to 274 Camberwell Road, London SE50AY. Tickets available on Eventbrite at www.eventbrite.com/Nigeria Week or numbers below. For more details, visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week, produced by SRTV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information